All right, listen up, gentlemen. There is a fundamental truth that most men fail to grasp. You do not chase women. You become the man that women want to be with. Society has fed you a lie, a deception so profound that it has weakened your very core. You are told to be nice, to be agreeable, to mold yourself into whatever a woman wants. But let me tell you something, that's the path to being ignored, discarded, and forgotten. Women do not fall in love with a man who begs for attention. They fall in love with a man who commands respect. If you want to attract the kind of woman that you dream about, you must first become the kind of man that she would dream about. The world does not reward weakness. It does not reward mediocrity. It does not reward men who sit around waiting for life to hand them a perfect relationship. Women are not interested in men who are still searching for themselves. Women are drawn to men who have already found themselves. A man who knows his worth, who moves through life with purpose, who doesn't shrink himself to fit into someone else's idea of who he should be, that is a man who commands attention without asking for it. Stop chasing, stop begging, stop waiting, start building. Become the kind of man who doesn't need a woman to complete him, but instead attracts her because he is already complete. There is no shortcut, no trick, no gimmick that will make a woman fall in love with you if you are not already in love with the life you are creating for yourself. She doesn't want a man who is just passing through life. She wants a man who is taking charge of his life. The most dangerous thing you can be is a man who relies on someone else for his sense of identity. If your confidence depends on whether or not a woman likes you, you are already losing. If your sense of purpose is tied to whether or not she gives you attention, you are already failing. You need to stand on your own 2 feet, with or without her approval. Because the moment you need her, the moment you depend on her for your validation, is the moment she starts losing interest in you. A man who is focused, who is disciplined, who is on a mission, that is a man who doesn't need to chase because the world comes to him. Women respect a man who is building something greater than himself. A man who wakes up every morning with fire in his eyes and refuses to waste time on things that don't move him forward. You want a woman to see you as someone valuable? Then become valuable. Develop skills. Get stronger, learn, evolve. Every single day become a little bit better than the man you were yesterday. Because if you are the same man today that you were last year, you have already failed yourself. Weak men wait for the right opportunity. Strong men create opportunities. Weak men hope that women will notice them. Strong men make themselves impossible to ignore. It's not about arrogance, it's about mastery. If you walk into a room and you know you are capable, if you know you bring something to the table, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Confidence is not something you tell people you have. It's something they see in the way you carry yourself. A man of value does not waste time. He does not scroll endlessly on his phone, consuming garbage that does nothing for him. He does not waste energy chasing fleeting pleasures because he understands that pleasure without purpose is just distraction. Every moment of his life is spent building himself, refining himself, sharpening himself into something unstoppable. Because he knows that if he becomes the kind of man who is undeniably powerful, undeniably competent, undeniably disciplined, then attraction is not something he has to fight for. It's something that happens naturally. Women are drawn to strength, not just physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual. They are drawn to men who can handle pressure, who do not crumble at the first sign of hardship. If your life is a mess, if you are drifting through existence with no direction, if you lack the discipline to take control of your own destiny, why would a woman look at you and think, this is the kind of man I can trust? Women do not want to fix you. They do not want to mother you. They want a man who can stand on his own, who doesn't need saving, who doesn't make excuses. A man who owns his failures, learns from them, and comes back stronger every time. If you don't have a vision, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a mission that drives you, then you are already losing. Because without direction, you are just wandering. And women do not fall in love with wanderers. They fall in love with warriors, with men who know what they want, and who are willing to do whatever it takes to get there. A woman does not want to be your purpose. She wants to walk beside a man who already has one. Do you think a man who is physically strong, mentally sharp, emotionally composed, and financially disciplined struggles to get attention from women? Do you think a man who knows what he's about, who respects himself, who commands respect wherever he goes, is sitting around wondering why he's being ignored? Of course not. The men who struggle are the ones who have not yet become something worth pursuing. And that is the hard truth that most people are too afraid to tell you. Women don't choose a man because he wants them. They choose a man because he has something rare, something most men don't have. And that rare thing is unwavering self-respect, uncompromising discipline, and undeniable competence. The kind of man who can walk into any situation and handle it. The kind of man who doesn't need to convince anyone of his worth because his worth is obvious in everything he does. You are either growing or you are dying. There is no in between. You are either becoming stronger, smarter, more capable every single day, or you are staying the same. And staying the same is just another way of falling behind. You don't have time to waste. Every second you spend indulging in weakness is a second you could have spent building strength. Every moment you waste complaining is a moment you could have spent improving. No woman wants to be with a man who is a liability. They want a man who is an asset. A man who adds value, who enhances her life, who brings something to the table that no other man does. And that something is your character, your ambition, your ability to take charge and make things happen. If you are waiting for a woman to complete you, you will wait forever. If you are waiting for the right moment to start becoming the man you were meant to be, that moment will never come. The time is now, right now. This very second, get up, get to work, cut out the distractions, drop the excuses, and start acting like the kind of man who deserves everything he wants in life. Because the truth is, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. A weak man waits for approval before he takes action, while a strong man forges his own path with or without validation. The moment you rely on someone else to give you permission to be great, you have already lost. You are either in control of your life, or you are a byproduct of someone else's decisions. If you sit around hoping for attention, hoping for love, hoping for someone to see your worth, you will be overlooked. You do not wait to be chosen, you become so undeniable that no one can ignore you. A man who understands his value does not seek validation from women because he already knows what he brings to the table. He does not ask for permission to be strong, he simply is. Most men have been lied to. They've been told that being nice, being agreeable, bending over backward to please women will make them desirable. But the truth is, women are not drawn to weakness disguised as kindness. They are not moved by men who seek approval like lost puppies. They are drawn to strength, to presence, to an energy that speaks of purpose and self-respect. A man who is truly valuable does not chase, he attracts. He does not beg, he commands. He does not mold himself to fit another person's expectations, he defines himself. And the world either respects that or gets left behind. You must become a man of substance, a man of action, a man whose presence alone demands attention without a single word spoken. If your life is empty, if your ambitions are weak, if your discipline is non-existent, you will never hold the interest of a high-value woman. Women are biologically wired to seek out strength, to seek out security, to seek out men who are going somewhere. If you are stagnant, if you are lost, if you have no vision, you are invisible. The greatest lie you have been told is that love will save you, that a woman will fix you, that a relationship will give you purpose. A relationship does not make a man makes himself. Build your mind, strengthen your body, master your craft, expand your knowledge. Every single day you waste in mediocrity is a day that weakens you. The world is ruthless to men who have no direction. A man with no mission is a man who is disposable. Women do not look at men who blend into the background, who have no fire, no drive, no hunger for something greater. They do not desire men who are desperate for attention, for approval, for someone to fill the emptiness in their soul. You must fill yourself first. Become so focused on your own evolution that everything else is secondary. Not because you do not value love, but because you value yourself more. Women do not choose men who make them their entire world. They choose men who are already building a world of their own. A man who is crafting his own destiny does not have to beg for anyone to join him. He does not have to convince anyone of his worth because his actions speak louder than words. When you own your path, when you stand tall in your ambition, when you walk with the confidence of a man who knows exactly where he is going, you do not have to chase love. Love follows you. Attraction is not something you force, it is a byproduct of strength. You are either creating yourself or destroying yourself. Every decision you make, every habit you cultivate, every choice you allow yourself to make without discipline is either moving you forward or dragging you backward. If you waste your days scrolling through distractions, chasing quick pleasure, avoiding the discomfort of growth, you are ensuring your own failure. The men who stand out are the ones who refuse to accept mediocrity, who refuse to let their potential rot away in comfort and laziness. Women do not admire men who surrender to weakness. They do not fantasize about men who lack courage. They respect men who embrace struggle and emerge stronger. The world does not owe you a woman's love. It does not owe you attention, affection, or admiration. You must earn everything. You must prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are strong enough to carry the weight of responsibility. If your life is not in order, if your finances are a disaster, if your health is deteriorating, if your mind is filled with self-doubt, you have no business worrying about relationships. You need to fix yourself first. A man who is still looking for direction is in no position to lead. And women follow men who lead. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for external forces to shape you into the man you need to be. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you greatness. You either take control of your evolution or you become another nameless face in the crowd of men who were too afraid to rise. The men who win are the ones who get up and do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. They are the ones who work while others sleep, who push forward while others hesitate, who refuse to allow excuses to dictate their future. A man of value never asks, "How do I get a woman?" He asks, "How do I make myself into the kind of man that no woman can resist?" Because when you are focused on your goals, when you are living with power, when you are chasing something far greater than validation, you naturally become the kind of man that others want to be around. Women respect men who respect themselves, who stand firm in their principles, who will not break their standards for the sake of temporary companionship. If you allow loneliness to make you compromise your value, you are proving that you were never truly strong to begin with. A woman cannot complete you. She cannot give you purpose. She cannot fill the void of a man who has refused to build himself. The love you seek, the admiration you crave, the respect you desire, all of it begins with who you are becoming. If you become something rare, something extraordinary, something powerful, attraction is not something you will have to worry about. The right woman will see you and she will know. But if you remain weak, if you allow yourself to be ordinary, if you continue making the same mistakes and expecting a different result, then you will remain unnoticed, unwanted, and forgotten. Pain is the fire that forges men into warriors. Discomfort is the price you pay for transformation. The path to strength is brutal, but it is necessary. Every great man in history, every leader, every conqueror, every self-made success, they all embraced the struggle. They did not run from it. They did not complain. They did not seek pity. They took the weight of their destiny and carried it without hesitation. If you want to become the kind of man that women respect, admire, and desire, you must be willing to walk through the fire and come out unbreakable. No more excuses, no more waiting. No more chasing things that do not build you into something greater. You have one life, one opportunity to rise above the masses of men who wasted their potential. The only question that remains is, will you take it? Weak men are ruled by their emotions, while strong men rule over their emotions. A man who is controlled by his impulses, his insecurities, his fears, he is already defeated. He does not lead, he does not command, he does not influence. He reacts, he bends, he shatters under pressure. Women see this and they lose respect instantly. A man who cannot master himself can never master his relationships. A man who does not understand his own mind will always be a slave to the emotions of others. If you are at the mercy of your feelings, you are nothing more than a puppet being pulled by the strings of circumstance. A man who cannot handle his own emotions will never be trusted to handle a woman's emotions. She will test you, push you, challenge you, because she needs to know if you are strong enough to remain unshaken. If you crumble at the first sign of difficulty, she will lose faith in you. If you lash out, become desperate, allow insecurity to dictate your actions, she will pull away. Women do not fall for men who need constant reassurance, who are afraid of being alone, who seek validation to feel worthy. They fall for men who have already validated themselves, who do not need permission to feel powerful, who carry themselves with a confidence that does not fluctuate based on someone else's approval. When you lose control of your emotions, you lose control of your life. Anger, jealousy, fear, desperation, these are the weapons that destroy men from the inside. A man who cannot control his temper is a man who will always be a liability. A man who allows jealousy to consume him is a man who will never be at peace. A man who clings to a woman out of fear of losing her is a man who has already lost himself. If your emotional state is dictated by how others treat you, you are weak. If you allow the opinions, the rejections, the judgments of others to dictate your confidence, you have no foundation. A real man stands firm regardless of the storm. A woman's emotions are like the ocean, unpredictable, ever-changing, deep and sometimes chaotic. If you are a weak man, you will be drowned by her waves, pulled under by the force of emotions you do not understand. But if you are strong, if you are composed, if you are grounded in something deeper than fleeting emotions, then you do not fight the waves, you become the rock that the waves crash against without ever moving. She needs to feel your strength, not in words, not in empty promises, but in your unshakable presence. When life gets hard, she must look at you and know, without a doubt, that you will not break. Men who lack emotional intelligence react like children. They lash out when things don't go their way. They become bitter when they are rejected. They crumble when faced with conflict. But a man who has mastered his emotions is dangerous in the best way possible. He does not react, he responds. He does not let his emotions dictate his actions. He controls his actions regardless of emotion. He does not seek revenge, does not waste energy proving his worth, does not allow the temporary discomfort of a moment to dictate his long-term strategy. He is always in control, always composed, always thinking 10 steps ahead. A man without purpose is a man who drifts, lost in the currents of a world that does not wait for the weak. If you have no direction, no vision, no fire driving you forward, you are nothing more than a shadow of what you could be. Women do not admire men who wander aimlessly, who hesitate, who look to others for guidance instead of forging their own path. A man with no purpose is a man who has already surrendered to mediocrity. And mediocrity is the death of attraction, the death of respect, the death of everything that makes a man powerful. A man's purpose is his foundation, the force that keeps him moving when everything else tries to pull him down. It is the one thing that makes him untouchable, unshakable, unbreakable. Without purpose, you are weak, you are fragile, you are at the mercy of circumstance. The world will push you around, women will test you, life will throw obstacles in your path, and if you do not have something greater to fight for, you will fold. The man who wakes up without a mission is already losing. The man who does not know why he is here is already forgotten. The man who does not chase something bigger than himself is already irrelevant. Women do not follow men who lack ambition. They do not admire men who live day to day with no greater vision. They do not respect men who waste time, who waste energy, who waste potential. A man without a goal is a man without presence. He fades into the background, unnoticed, unwanted, unimportant. But a man who is driven, who is obsessed with his evolution, who is relentlessly chasing mastery, he does not need to seek approval. Approval follows him. He does not need to beg for attention. Attention gravitates toward him. He does not need to convince anyone of his worth because his actions declare it louder than words ever could. A woman wants to feel like she is stepping into a man's world, not dragging a man into hers. If you are lost, if you are unsure of yourself, if you are still waiting for someone to tell you what to do with your life, you are not leading, you are following. And women are not drawn to followers. They are drawn to men who are going somewhere, men who stand for something, men who live with intensity and purpose that is undeniable. If your life lacks depth, if your days are filled with distractions instead of discipline, if you are merely existing instead of dominating, you have already lost the game. Your mission is not optional. It is not something you pursue when it is convenient, when it is easy, when it fits neatly into your schedule. Your mission is what separates you from the weak, from the ordinary, from the men who will never be remembered. If you wake up every day without a goal, without an obsession, without a hunger to achieve something greater than yourself, you are wasting oxygen. The greatest men in history, the men who shaped the world, the men who commanded respect and admiration, they were relentless in their pursuit of purpose. They did not chase pleasure, they did not seek comfort, they did not wait for motivation. They simply did what needed to be done every single day without hesitation. A woman can see when a man has no fire. She can sense when he lacks direction, when he is still searching for meaning instead of creating it. She may entertain him for a while, but she will never truly respect him. And once respect is gone, everything else follows. She will not submit to a man who has no command over his own life. She will not invest in a man who is still trying to figure out who he is. She will not build with a man who is not already building something of his own. If you want to be admired, desired, respected, you must know exactly where you are going and refuse to be stopped. Men who lack purpose seek meaning in relationships, thinking that a woman will fill the emptiness inside them. But a woman is not your purpose. A relationship is not your purpose. You must become whole on your own. If you are searching for fulfillment in another person, you have already lost. She will see your desperation. She will feel your neediness. And she will pull away. Not because she does not want love, but because she does not want to carry the weight of a man who has not built himself. A man with purpose does not chase love, he chases greatness. And love becomes a natural byproduct of his journey. Purpose gives a man an edge, a raw power that cannot be faked. When you wake up every morning with a clear mission, when you attack your goals with intensity, when you refuse to be distracted by meaningless pursuits, you become magnetic. You become undeniable. You become the kind of man that commands respect without saying a word. Your presence alone speaks volumes, your actions define you. Your energy draws people in, not because you are seeking their attention, but because they can feel the fire inside you. A man's purpose is the foundation of his masculinity. It is the force that makes him strong when others are weak, focused when others are lost, disciplined when others give in to distractions. If you do not have a mission, you are easily swayed. You are pulled in every direction, never truly grounded, never truly powerful. But a man with purpose does not waver. He does not hesitate. He does not waste time wondering if he is worthy. He proves it through action, through commitment, through an unbreakable resolve to create something meaningful with his life. A woman does not need a perfect man. She does not expect a man who has everything figured out. But she does need a man who is moving forward, a man who is growing, a man who is obsessed with becoming the best version of himself. She needs to feel that he has momentum, that he is building something real, that he is becoming something greater every single day. The moment she senses stagnation, the moment she feels that he has lost his hunger, the moment she realizes that he is waiting for life to hand him meaning instead of creating his own destiny, that is the moment her respect fades. And once respect fades, attraction dies. If you wake up without a reason to be better than you were yesterday, you are already falling behind. If you are not constantly learning, growing, improving, you are decaying. Strength is not built in comfort. Greatness is not found in complacency. Every day you waste is a day you will never get back. Every moment spent in mediocrity is a moment lost forever. A man's life is measured by what he builds, what he creates, what he leaves behind. If you do not chase something greater than yourself, you will leave nothing. You will be forgotten. You will become one of the millions of men who lived without truly living. A mission is not something you wait for, it is something you decide. You choose what you will dedicate your life to. You choose what you will sacrifice for. You choose what you will master, what you will perfect, what you will give your energy to. And once you choose, you commit fully, without hesitation, without looking back, without letting doubt, distraction, or weakness pull you off course. The world does not respect men who hesitate. It does not admire men who wait for permission. It does not follow men who are uncertain of themselves. The world bows to the man who moves forward with absolute conviction, regardless of the obstacles in his path. A man with purpose is unstoppable. He does not break when things get hard. He does not fold under pressure. He does not seek validation because his mission is all the validation he needs. Women see this, feel this, are drawn to this because strength is rare. Determination is rare. Absolute commitment to a higher purpose is rare. And rarity is what makes a man irresistible. If you want to be that man, then you must decide. Right now, will you waste your life or will you create something legendary? A weak man seeks approval. A strong man commands respect. If you chase validation, if you constantly need reassurance, if you try to prove your worth through words instead of action, you are already lost. Women do not admire men who beg for attention, who adjust themselves to please others, who sacrifice their authenticity to be liked. They are drawn to men who stand firm in who they are, men who do not waver, men who know their own value without needing anyone to confirm it. Confidence is not arrogance. It is not loud, it is not desperate, it is not forced. It is the quiet power of a man who does not need to explain himself, who does not need to seek permission, who does not need to impress. A truly confident man does not try to prove his worth, he lives in a way that makes it undeniable. He does not talk about how great he is, his presence alone says everything. His energy, his posture, his tone, his actions, all of it declares that he is a man who knows himself. Women do not fall for men who try too hard. They see through the act. They sense the insecurity behind the bravado. A man who boasts, who constantly reminds others of his accomplishments, who seeks validation in external things, he is fragile. Real confidence is effortless. It does not demand attention, it naturally attracts it. A man who is comfortable in his own skin, who does not feel the need to convince anyone of his greatness, who simply is, that is the man who captivates. A man who doubts himself is a man who loses before he even begins. If you hesitate, if you second guess, if you allow fear to dictate your movements, you betray yourself. Confidence is built through action. It is not given. It is not inherited. It is earned through trial, through struggle, through pushing beyond what you once thought possible. Every time you avoid discomfort, every time you back down from a challenge, every time you choose safety over growth, you weaken yourself. But every time you step into fear, every time you face resistance, every time you act, despite uncertainty, you forge something unbreakable. Women test men not to be cruel, not to cause pain, but to see if they are real. They challenge your confidence, not because they want you to fail, but because they need to know you won't break. If you crack under pressure, if you crumble at the first sign of difficulty, if you become defensive, desperate, reactive, she knows you are not the man you pretend to be. But if you stand firm, if you hold your frame, if you do not let her words shake you, she feels it. She respects it. And respect breeds attraction. A confident man does not flinch. He does not react emotionally. He does not seek to control or manipulate. He is content with himself, content with his path, content with his purpose. He does not chase. He does not beg. He does not try to force what is not meant for him. He simply exists in his power. And the right people recognize it. Women are drawn to certainty. They want to feel that a man knows where he is going, that he is moving with direction, that he is unshaken by the noise of the world. If you do not respect yourself, no one else will. If you do not carry yourself with the presence of a man who deserves respect, you will never receive it. You must believe in your own worth so deeply that it becomes impossible for others to ignore. You must carry yourself as if you already own the world, as if success is inevitable, as if nothing can shake you. That belief alone separates the strong from the weak, the men who lead from the men who follow, the ones who are remembered from the ones who are forgotten. A man who lacks confidence is a man who apologizes for his existence. He walks with hesitation. He speaks with uncertainty. He questions his own words, his own actions, his own worth. And a woman sees it, feels it, knows it instantly. She may tolerate it, but she will never admire it. Attraction fades in the presence of weakness. If you do not believe in yourself, why would anyone else? If you do not see yourself as powerful, why would she? The most dangerous man in the room is not the loudest, not the most aggressive, not the most physically dominant. It is the man who knows himself completely, the man who does not seek approval, who does not react emotionally, who does not let the opinions of others dictate his reality. He does not try to be liked, he simply is, and people respect it. Women feel it, men acknowledge it. The world bends to it. Confidence is built in silence. It is created through discipline, through mastery, through constant refinement of mind and body. It is not given. It is not bought. It is forged in struggle. The man who wakes up every day and improves himself, who sharpens his mind, who strengthens his body, who builds something meaningful, he becomes confident by default. He does not need to fake it. He does not need to act. He simply is. A woman cannot respect a man who does not respect himself. She cannot admire a man who does not hold himself to high standards. She cannot fall for a man who doubts his own worth. Women are drawn to men who know they are worthy, not because someone told them, not because they were born into privilege, not because they seek validation, but because they proved it to themselves through action, through struggle, through absolute commitment to becoming the best version of who they are. The world does not care about excuses. It does not care about fears, insecurities, or self-doubt. It rewards those who act, who take risks, who move forward despite resistance. A man who allows fear to control him will always be a spectator in his own life. He will watch others succeed, watch others lead, watch others live while he remains frozen, waiting for permission that will never come. Confidence is not about waiting to feel ready. It is about acting before you feel ready. It is about stepping forward when everything inside you wants to hold back. A man who knows his worth does not tolerate disrespect. He does not allow himself to be treated as an option. He does not chase those who do not see his value. He moves with purpose, with certainty, with a quiet strength that commands attention. He does not waste time proving himself to those who cannot see what he already knows. He does not beg for love because he knows he is worthy of it, and that alone makes him irresistible. Women can sense a man's energy before he speaks. They know if he is strong or weak, if he is sure of himself or uncertain, if he is leading his own life or waiting for someone to lead him. The man who stands tall, who speaks with conviction, who does not shrink to make others comfortable, that is the man who captivates. Not because he demands attention, but because his presence alone makes people take notice. A confident man does not need to control a woman. He is already in control of himself. He does not need to impress. He is already impressive. He does not need to prove his worth. His actions make it clear. He does not seek permission to be great. He simply is. And in that he becomes unstoppable. If you want to attract a woman and make her fall in love with you, you must first become a man worth falling for. Not through tricks, not through desperate attempts to impress, not by chasing what is meant to come naturally, but by building yourself into something undeniable. A man who knows his mission, who refuses to be swayed by weakness, who holds himself with unshakable confidence, that is the man who commands respect, admiration, and desire. You do not beg for attention. You do not chase validation. You do not lose yourself in the pursuit of others. Instead, you master yourself, refine yourself, elevate yourself until your presence alone demands recognition. A woman does not.